Well, thank you, Dave. That's flattering to me. That's my dream. That's why I made my own company. My own company is for publishing and producing films. So I want to be able to merge those two parts of my life into one thing. My goal is to one day be able to sit back and write what I want, act in what I want, and just be able to live my life. Because me and my wife, we love to travel. So I want to be sitting on a beach, writing book number 20 something in a whatever, and have fun.
Everybody, welcome back to Living the Next Chapter, the author podcast. You get to meet great people like from around the world and get some time with some really interesting people who have done a lot of stuff I've never done, stuff I maybe wish I had done, but great things all around. Cam's here today to talk about his journey. You're going to love this guy. Just a great conversation coming up for you. You'll be inspired and going to learn a lot from another author and somebody on a journey of telling great stories. Cam, welcome to Living Next Chapter. Glad to have you on the podcast.
Well, thank you for having me on, Dave.
It's exciting. All right, I'm very excited. First time guest, right? Wow.
Yes, first time podcast.
Come on. This is great.
Yes.
Okay. So the bar is set really high. We're going to have to all show up for you today. I'm asking everyone listening to respond to Cam and flood his email with Cam, I love you emails. Okay, just everybody pour onto Cam. Right, that's going to happen.
Yes.
Maybe, I don't know.
Listen, no, love is important. Spread all the love, not just to me, to everybody.
I like it. Cam, tell everybody, where are you? Where do you live?
Right now I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm actually from Western Mass, though. So right now I've been splitting my time between the two. Me and my wife are planning a move down here, hopefully in the next month or so. So I'll be living down here, but I'm from Westfield.
There you go. Good. So what takes you down to that part of the world then?
My dad lives down here, some of my family, but more acting. My first short film that I did with a great production team down here in Atlanta. And ever since then, I've been kind of doing more productions with them and meeting more people down here. So I've realized that Atlanta is the place to be for a young actor like myself.
Good. Awesome. Tell us a little bit more about your acting background. Let's start there. I'm super curious. Come on.
Okay, yeah. Well, I went to school originally I wanted to go to school for architecture or something. I didn't really know what I wanted to do in high school. And then I met my wife and she introduced me to theater. And I was like, oh, let me try this thing out. And I took a theater class senior year. I loved it. We wrote a play. It was so much fun. So I said, I want to try to go to an acting college. So I did. It was so much fun. Learned a lot about being on set, acting techniques, and just the whole craft behind being an actor in filmmaking. And ever since then, I fell in love with it. I did a play up in Connecticut with the Afro-Caribbean Cultural Center called Calling Puerto Rico. It's a story about Hurricane Maria and this guy from New York trying to get in touch with his grandfather on the island. And then soon after that, I did my very first short film with this production company called J&M Productions. The short film is entitled Reacher. It's actually on YouTube right now. You could check it out, J&M Productions at YouTube. And that was fun. That's actually in the Jumper universe. So I was teleporting around in the short film and had to fight people. And it was a lot of fun. I love superheroes. So it was my first short film being able to play somebody with powers. It was so surreal.
Nice. Was your power being able to jump around or did you have other powers then?
Yeah. So they ran off of the Jumper universe where he could just teleport himself. And then I developed a power to jump objects to me. That was the whole catch of the movie. I can reach things. So it was fun.
It's okay. So I'm going to put you on the spot. If I, Dave, the host of Living the Next Chapter, had a superpower, from your perspective on that side of the camera, what do you think my superpower would be? I'm open to suggestions. What do you got for me?
Oh, okay.
Should be interesting.
I feel like it would have something to do with time.
Oh.
I don't know. You do a lot of these podcasts and a lot of these events. It seems like you do a lot behind the scenes. So I feel like your superpower would have to do with either changing time, reversing time, stopping time. So then you could have a whole conversation like this and then time won't pass. I don't know. Something like that.
Okay. Because usually when people are with me, they say time flies. They're like, oh, wait, we're done already? It's like, oh, yeah, that went by really, really quick. But I like yours. I like pausing time. Yeah, capturing a moment in time.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
Okay. Because it's podcasting, right? Podcasts live on in the future. They happen in the moment, but there's future. Oh, yeah.
That's true.
I might go get a cape or something. Like I'm thinking about that now. You got me thinking.
You should take it. You should get it.
Right?
Yep.
Maybe in one
Yeah.
of your upcoming movies, you'll have a podcaster, a part of the movie, and you're like, who could we get to be a podcaster for this movie? I wonder who comes to mind. And maybe, I don't know, right? Taylor Swift was on a podcast recently, so there's hope for anybody, right? So maybe.
Yes, she was.
Okay. Anyway, keep me in mind.
No, I would definitely think of you, Dave.
Okay.
No, I write so much that I'm always thinking of new ideas, and then having interactions like this make me think of new stories. Just like maybe I will make a movie with a podcast guy in it
Yes!
now.
Right? Because, podcasts
Yes.
are taking over the world, so.
Yes, they really are.
I'm just putting it out there. I'm just giving you as attempts. I'll have my people call your people. How's that?
Yes, my people will contact you. Right, too.
I have no people. It's just me. It's just me, Sam. It's just me.
Me
I love
too.
it. I love it.
Me too.
What do you love about acting? Like, now that you're doing it, you're in here, you're meeting
Yep.
people. What part of acting is the thing that just, like a bug to a light, just draws you right in? You're like, I love this about acting.
Honestly, I think it's just the storytelling aspect. I started off acting, and I loved it. I loved being able to dive into characters and develop that the way that I see it living within me. But I think then recently I've turned more towards writing. As you know, I've written a book now, and I've written some screenplays and scripts, and I realized I just really love the storytelling aspects, being able to take people's experiences and moments and things that make us human and put it on the screen or put it on the page and make it come alive. Because I've found a lot of joy in watching movies and reading books when I was younger, and I just want to be able to provide that for other people.
Okay. What's the big difference between acting out someone's words on camera as an actor compared to writing your own words as an author?
You know, I've heard some people say there's a huge difference, but to me it's very similar. I find that when I first started writing, I would just kind of write the things that came to my mind, and then eventually was able to compile them into a cohesive story. But after a while, I learned to take some of my own acting techniques, as in a little bit of method acting, I guess you'd call it, and getting into the character, into that mind space, and moving on to my writing to get into those characters that I've created. And it's really strange. I've heard writers say that characters take on a life of their own when you write them. Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, they kind of do. But no, they really do. It's a little surprising that the characters in my world have gone in different ways that I never expected, and trying to put myself in their shoes and in their mindset has like shifted things for me myself. It's a very interesting process. So I don't think acting and writing are that much different. And that also goes for writing a screenplay or writing a book or acting. I feel like that storytelling aspect, as long as it's coming from a true place, it's all going to come out the same, truthfully.
What about the difference between writing a screenplay and writing a novel, writing a book? Screenplays have a different format than writing a book. There's a visual component to movies you don't get with a written word. So do you approach storytelling differently when you do a screenplay compared to writing a book?
I guess yes. I guess you would. I mean, I would say you have to just trust the script and the future of that more, because when you're writing a book, you want the person reading it to be able to hear it, to be able to see it, to be able to just feel a part of that world. But I guess when you write a script, you're more leaving some of that stuff up to interpretation from the director or from the actors. You want to leave some room to play, and that's actually why I think that there's so much white space on the page. When I was in acting school, we learned that you fill up that white space on a script with all your notes and, oh, why does my character say this? And, oh, they must be thinking about this. And that's why you have all this white space on the page. But on a book, all that white space is filled up because you're giving your audience what they're thinking, how they're feeling, and things like that. So I guess it's just more of trusting. Being a filmmaker or being an actor and a filmmaker now, I guess you learn to trust your team and trust the production that you're a part of, because it really takes a village. I've heard it many times, and it's really true. It takes so many people just to make a 30-second ad commercial. So it's like You write what you write, and then you trust that the director and the camera guy and the actor is gonna put their own spin on it and bring it to life.
Okay. Yeah, because I think, like, from a visual perspective, you can write, he got into his car and drove off into the sunset. Okay, what kind of
Yeah,
car? The sunset on the ocean, sunset in the forest, sunset where?
yeah,
Cityscape. Like, what do I need to know about this? What time of night is it? All this. And but on camera, you give the basics, and then it's freed open. They can do what they want with it, from set design or how they're going to film it, all of that, what kind of
exactly.
car, everything. There's a little bit of freedom there, but and when you write it into a book, you really got to kind of lead the reader a little bit more and not leave it too open ended. You want them to
Yeah,
connect with the story as well, right?
yeah, no, 100%. I definitely agree with that, and I think that's the beauty of storytelling, be able to lead people, whether it's giving them more of something to work with or more of a framework to look into as a book versus a script. If
What
that makes sense.
what project or actor would you be inspired to work next to, alongside, partnership with? Is there somebody that stands out to you that you're just like, I really respect this person and what they do and how they show up on screen?
Huh. You know, I like a lot of actors. Um, I don't know, off the top of my head, I love everything like Tom Holland and Pedro Pascal and John Krasinski and those type of actors do. And but besides that, I love what Adam Sandler does, what he has accomplished with being able to make stories with his friends, because that's what his movies all boil down to. He's just creating things with his friends, and it seems like it's fun to make, and he's built a whole company and a career off of it, and that's something that I aspire to do because I just want to be able to have fun. And obviously, we all want to make a living doing it, but I just want to be able to have fun with my friends while I'm making a living.
There you go. One of my friends was in Pixels with Adam.
Oh, yeah?
She was at the very end. She had a speaking part, but then they cut it. But Adam was right there behind the camera watching her.
Yeah.
Kevin James was there as well, and they're all there behind the camera watching her record. And she's just like so giddy because she got to be on camera and have a speaking line in the movie. Unfortunately, they cut it out. But anyways, but the whole idea, and she said being on set, he was just the nicest guy ever. Like,
Yeah.
so down to earth, like just so real, not like above everyone. He was the same person. And I'm like, that's really cool to hear that there's
That
people
is.
like that still in the world, right?
Yeah, well, I think that's the most important part. We all have to remember we're all human.
Yeah.
No one's above anybody else just because you have a few dollars or a few $1,000,000. Like we're all still just trying to make ends meet and live our life and have a good time, have fun.
Yeah, it's amazing. Okay, so where did writing and becoming an author work into acting, following your career, and following this pursuit? It feels like you're now kind of dividing your attention a little bit. The fact that you're going after the author side as well. How did that happen?
Yes, I mean, I've actually very much divided my attention over the last year. I haven't really applied to any acting roles like I used to. I used to be on, like my wife, she's an actress too. She, instead of scrolling Instagram, she's scrolling Backstage or Actors Access, looking at roles and applying to things. She's like, oh, this looks cool. And we do auditions a lot. But this last year, I've really been focused on the writing and the honing of or perfecting of the book. And I don't know. I don't think I think as long as I'm doing something that's storytelling, I'm always going to be happy. So whether I switch gears for a little bit, then come back, because I'm hoping that after I launch my book, I'm able to go back to acting a little bit. I'm also lucky that the production company, J&M Productions, where I did Reacher, I've been working with them. I was just on set last week, and I'm going to be on set again this weekend as a first AD, as a producer for Shadow of the Batman, a Batman short film that we're making together. So I'm lucky that I'm able to have them to still have some filmmaking stuff going on while I'm doing my writing things. They just kind of invite me. They called me the other day and was like, hey, you want to produce this thing? I was like, yeah, I'll come down.
Okay, for people that are listening, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I need to see Cam on camera." We're going to do the call to action stuff at the end, and I'm going to find you. But while we're talking about it, where can we watch all this stuff, Cam?
Well, right now, J&M Productions on their YouTube, they have Reacher. I'm
Yeah.
not sure where Shadow the Batman or their last short film is going to go. I assume also on their YouTube. But if you go to my website, hudsonmediacollective.com, I always be shouting out the things that I'm producing or acting in. So that'll all be there as well.
Okay, good. All right, I like it. That's a lot of fun. I always see people like you on camera and go, how did they get there? Like, how did they do it? Right? And they're doing it, and it's amazing. So
Yeah. Well, I'm just a guy like you. I'm just very passionate about storytelling. So I just want to make sure that whatever I do is in that world.
So for somebody listening, Cam, and they want to take their passion and become an author, like you're doing, what's some words of wisdom that would be helpful for you to have heard before you started the journey of writing your book? You press play on a podcast, there's an author talking about their story. What would have been helpful for you to hear early days?
I guess just just finish, if that makes sense. Just get if you have a passion, if you have a urge to write a story, don't worry too much about the beginning or the word flow or how the sentences are structured, because that will all be edited 10 times over. Just get the story out there until you're satisfied with it. Because I got stuck when I was first writing. I started writing this book in 2018, but after I wrote for a little bit, I would start writing a series outline and, oh, what happens in book 7 and what happens in book 2 with these characters. And I went down that rabbit hole a lot. Then I started editing the first chapter probably 20 times before I got halfway through the book. And at one point I was like, you know what, I just have to get this all out there, get it all from inside my head onto the page, so then I can look at it and figure out exactly what the next steps are. Because for a while, and then there's so many great services and platforms like yours and other podcasts and YouTube channels and TikToks that you can learn a lot from. We live in a day and age where information is at our fingertips. Yeah. So as a independent author, or whether you want to be traditionally published or self-published, you can learn it all yourself. Just get your first story out there, wrote it down, written down, and from there you can move on and attack it in different ways, and then the editing and the revising and formatting all comes later.
Good. For the readers that are here, let's talk about the book. Let's really jump into this. I want them to connect with you and the story. Can you give us kind of like the 30,000-foot view of the book and what you want to do in this story for a reader who's new to you as an author? What do you want to tell them about the book? Let's start there.
Yeah, well, I set out just to write a cool superhero story. It turned, like I said to you before, characters really take on a life of their own. It turned into this dystopian science fiction father-son conflict driven superhero story that I really love. And I didn't expect it to get to where it gone, but yeah, as I said, it's a dystopian superhero, so I guess I kind of turned the superhero genre on its head, because I love superhero stories, love superhero movies, love comic books, but I find that some of them get a little repetitive. Some of them have a little bit of the same like outline that they all follow. Like, you know, they see the bad guy, they try to get the bad guy, they fail maybe once or twice, and then they get him. Yeah. But I wanted to change that. I wanted to make a realistic hero in our world. And then I ended up realizing that this main character might have a darker side. He might become the villain, which is where the title comes into play. Hero, a villain's origin.
Okay. I like that you have it right in the title. That's good.
Yes.
How did you land on this character? Like originally, like where was the idea for this?
Originally, the character just came from me. I'm gonna be honest. When I was 18, as we all do, we all have struggles with our parents. So I started writing it, and my first draft, the main character's father was like the worst kind of father you could ever have. Like, just despicable. Nothing like my dad, but just very intense. And I just started from a place of being a teenager, not understanding why your parents tell you no to things, not understanding why they are strict sometimes. So I started writing that, and I used to train Kaju Kempo, so I started writing this character with superpowers who was training under his father all the time, and his father was very like militaristic. You have to fight in this world to survive. And from there, he dives into life, I guess. In this world, he meets other people with powers and does other things like that. But as me, myself, I just took that from when I went to college and I started living and I started doing something else. You just all live. So I guess it just came from me. His name's Casimir. So at first, he actually didn't have a name. My first draft, I had him nameless for some reason. And my developmental editor was like, yeah, you should probably name him. I'm like, yeah, that's true.
That's interesting because I would think that the name would be early on in the process. I like that yours was a little different. That's interesting. Was there a reason why you didn't give the person a name right off the bat?
Well, that also goes with the really intensified version of a father. I had the father basically only training the son for a purpose of like being a weapon. So he didn't even name his kid, which is very unrealistic looking back on it. So I went that route. And yeah, then his friend had like a nickname for him. In my world, I call the superhumans Preters. So his friend used to call him Pret as a nickname. That's the very first draft. Nobody's probably ever going to read that one. My wife has read that one, but yeah, that's about it.
There you go. Well, a little behind the scenes for everybody. I like that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Maybe one day I'll release a chapter or so.
I like it. So kind of the big story idea, then the story arc then for the readers, kind of what are we going to learn about this character in the first, few chapters as you set the story? Can it kind of set us off with the beginning kind of a little bit? Give us some information.
Yeah. Well, Casimir just wants to be a hero.
Okay.
That's something that really is distilled in him. In this world, I mean, comic books exist, so he knows what superheroes are. He also knows that that being a Preter-Human. Let me go back. So,
Yeah.
in this world, there's 8 different types of Preter-Human abilities. Let me see if I remember them all off the top of my head. There's pyrokinesis, telekinesis, telepathy, strength, speed, flight, teleportation, and precognition. Yes.
Wow, good job.
So, a lot of powers.
Yeah.
And everybody's born with one power. It's kind of like genes in a dominant gene where there can only be one and it kind of takes over the other.
Yeah.
But this main character is born with all 8. So he feels some sense of need to step up and save the world, I guess. There was one person born before him with all 8 who was the president. But after this president got assassinated, the government decided to take the 3 most dangerous Preter-Human groups and exile them. So that's where our story kicks off. He's a part of the first generation of these exiled Preter-Humans on the west coast of America. He's with all the telekinetics and he's just training with his father. So we start off, he's training. He has one best friend and he just really wants to be a hero. He feels like he's meant for more. He's meant for great things. And he doesn't understand why his dad is so harsh on him until his dad sends him on a mission and he sees a little bit more of the real world of the government that they're fighting to protect. And something along that way, he meets a girl who actually makes him question if his mission is true, if his dad is true, if what he's fighting for is true. So he goes on this existential crisis, this internal and external journey to figure out what his destiny is, to figure out his meaning in this world, being one of the only Preter-Humans with all 8 abilities in this exiled community, feeling suppressed and all these evil emotions, I guess. All those I don't know the word.
Yeah. No, I get it. I'm following you.
Yeah.
From your perspective, if you had one of those gifts or abilities, what would you want and what would you lean into? What would be beneficial for you? You listed off a whole bunch. What would be something that you'd be like, I wish I had that?
Wow. I never thought of that one. Actually, that's a great question, Dave. I don't know. I used to say when I was younger that telekinesis was the best power because you could, and I touch upon that in my book, that they are one of the strongest preter-humans because they could simulate other powers. They can move themselves and fly. They could pick up really heavy objects like strength.
Yeah.
And it's a very strong ability. But for myself, in a real world situation, obviously I want to be a superhero too. I love
Yeah.
Superman, so that'd be great. But in the real world, I think I would like to just have something that gets me around faster, either speed or teleportation. I don't know which one would be better.
Interesting.
Probably teleportation is just easier. I can get to where I need to go and get there quickly.
There you go. Okay, yeah, because when you say that the president had all of these capabilities and still was assassinated, there's a weakness there somehow, right?
Yes, well, they're still human.
Yeah,
They're
right.
still human. They don't, I don't have like a kryptonite per se, but I
Yeah.
guess just like anybody else, we have flaws, we have weaknesses, we have whether they're emotional, physical, and all the preter-humans are prone to fighting with each other. And you can still, even if you have super strength and all this stuff, you could still fight someone with pyrokinesis and
Yeah.
have a really good matchup, I guess
Yeah,
you'd say.
right.
I wanted to make them more evenly matched, regardless of which power they had. If they had a lot of training, then they were stronger in their ability.
When I talk to authors that write similar to what you're doing, they find that one book's not enough. They're going to be like writing mini stories around this. More characters seem to appear in the process of writing the first book. They're like, oh, like it's like they just show up. They're like, oh, I'm going to have to
Yeah.
deal with you later. But were people showing up for you as characters while you were writing and you're like, what am I going to do with this character? I don't even know where to put him.
Oh yeah, no, and that's why I had it. That's why I've been writing this for 7 years because since probably up until 2022, I was still writing the series outline. I was still writing. This series is actually special to me and special in the way of it's not a set. We follow the same character for 6 or 7 books. I have it more set up like Marvel, where the first book or the first movie was Iron Man, then it's Captain America, then it's Thor,
Yeah.
and then they all come together. So I had the idea to make Hero, Casimir, the first book, and then moving on from there, each book is going to be separate groups of characters, separate heroes, until the last book where they all come together to fight a bigger threat. But yeah, a lot of characters popped up, and actually there's a few in this book that I was like, oh, I'm not done with this character yet, so I have them later on have their own book. Actually, one of the main antagonists that Casimir fights in this book will show up again in his own story.
Okay. All right. Did you get to the part? I think you mentioned you got to the part where you kind of you stalled out a little bit in the writing process. Did that happen for you, where you
Yeah.
just kind of like had to step back and give it some time?
Oh yeah, I think up until 2022, like I said, I was writing kind of all over the place. I actually started writing book 2 and 3. Just I have the first few chapters, a rough draft of them, and then I said, I actually need to finish the first book that I'm working on. So I sat down and finished that, and then once I did, I dropped the book for probably 6 months. I wanted to step away from all the characters in the world because I wanted to absorb more knowledge on writing. I was a new writer. I had no idea what I was doing, really. I was just writing a story. Once I finished it, I said, I'm going to listen to some podcasts, read some books that I really like. I read like Red Rising, and I finally got to read The Hunger Games because I never read it when I was younger.
Yeah.
And books that had strong, morally gray protagonists because that's what I was trying to emulate. And along with that, I also read some books on writing, books on editing, things of that nature. I think, 2023, I read a lot of books. And it was enjoyable to take a step back from the story. And then once I went back to it again, you're able to see it from a whole new perspective, like fresh eyes. And I think that's really important for you to do as an author. That's why I say to just finish it, because once you get the story all out there, you can take a step. You can go back to enjoying your own books, your own movies. You can learn a little bit about the writing process, learn about the publishing process, whatever. And then when you come back to it, you'll be like, oh, why did I write that? Or, oh, that was actually really good. At some points I was reading my first, actually, I printed my very first draft,
Okay.
and it's filled with notes and things like that. But so I printed it, went away from it for a while, came back to it, reading it, took a lot of notes. But sometimes I'd be like, wow, I wrote this. There'd be a line or so, and I'd be like, wow, that was me. And it's a very fulfilling process.
Okay. What about an audio version of the book? Is that something that you're thinking about at some point?
Yes, funny enough, my wife actually just was talking to me about it today. I recorded some snippets for social media purposes, some excerpts from the first chapter, and I'm planning on recording some from later, more dramatic parts, just to get a little traction on it, I guess. But no, I was actually just thinking I want to make it an audiobook. Maybe not this year, maybe next year, but I was also like, I'm an actor. I do
Yeah.
voice work,
Come on.
so I might as well read it myself.
Right.
And I've heard some people say that it's if you can achieve the voice acting part, people will like to hear it from how it was meant to be heard,
Right.
because I have the little ideas in my head of how a character says
Yeah.
this or how they would do that. So I have that more firsthand experience, I guess you'd say.
Yeah. One of the feedback I had from one of my authors on, they wrote their book, they put it out in the world, and then they went to record the audiobook. And they're like, Dave, the moment I started reading my own book, I found these little annoying mistakes that I completely missed. Every editor missed it, like a double word or something that just was in the wrong spot. And they're like, had I listened to this before I released it, I would have caught it. But it
Yeah.
went through so many edits and through across so many desks. Approved, approved, approved. But as soon as I went to voice it, I'm like, oh, it's glaring. I can see my mistake. So that's one thing. I enjoy audiobooks as a listener and a reader. I find them to be really enjoyable, especially when they're read by the author. I think that's quite unique. But just the idea that it might kind of illuminate some things for you as a
Yeah.
writer as well. They'd be like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense, right? I don't know.
Even just recording some of the first excerpts that
Yeah,
I did recently, I was like, oh, okay, that shouldn't be that, or like missing one little comma or something. And I'm
yeah,
like, oh, okay, well, that's something I should look at again. But yeah, no, it's I love audiobooks. Audiobooks are so fun. I actually just recently got into them. I listened to a bunch of books on a very long drive. I drove from Massachusetts down here, not this time,
yeah.
but a few times ago, and I listened to like Mistborn, and I'm forgetting the other ones because that
Yeah.
one was such a standout. Oh, listened to Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. That was such a good read.
Yeah.
But yeah, love audiobooks.
There you go. Okay. So you're going to keep writing. You got more stuff coming up
Yes.
in the future. You've got many different projects happening at the same time. How are you juggling all this? Like, how are you like, are you a disciplined person? Are you creating time in your calendar and writing is your priority for this time block? And so what I do you write when you're creative? How do you make time for all this?
You know, it's honestly it's really hard. I've been talking about this recently with my wife and like my sister because she's in marketing, and my other sister she's going to Syracuse for publication or publicist, that type of thing. I've been talking about it because I think I've been close to burning myself out. I kind of just do it all, and whenever something comes up in my head, I'm like, yeah, I should do this now. Especially self-publishing and creating my own company to publish under. I've been my own marketer, my own ads person, my own advocate in all these spaces. So I'm trying to be more disciplined to say I should set this time to do this business stuff and then set time to myself to relax. Because I think I had this idea of productivity means only producing something, like whether it's filming, acting, or writing, or doing things, making Canva things for Instagram or whatever it is. But productivity can also be taking time for yourself, because it's productive to give yourself those recharges and give yourself those relaxing moments, because that the only way that you can move forward as a creative is to have those times for yourself. So recently I've been all over the place. So I don't really have a set this or that. I kind of write when I'm creative. If like recently I got an idea for the next book, so I started writing for a few hours. But besides that, no.
Okay. What's it like living with another actor in the house? Like, are you both acting at all times? Are the real you show up? Like, come on, like, it's got to be interesting for
No,
the two of you.
it is interesting. It's fun. I mean, we've been together since 2017. And we actually just got married back in May. So
Ooh, good
we've
job.
been together for almost 9 years now, 8 or 9 years in February.
Nice.
So it's been fun. I mean, we both we both understand the craft. We both understand that we're both passionate about storytelling. I don't think we're always acting to each other, but I definitely we're always helping each other in that aspect, whether we're helping each other record auditions or helping each other work on scripts. Like she's actually going to be filming a short film with the same production company I've been working with down here in Atlanta this October. So I've been trying to help her with that aspect. I think I'll be producing that again if they give me a call and ask me to produce it. So yeah, I guess we just kind of we help each other. We understand that we both have the same dreams and aspirations. So whatever we can both do to support each other, we will. Like she's been my unofficial editor for my book for a long time. She's a huge fan of the Hunger Games. When I handed her my first draft and she wanted me to read it to her, I read it to her and she was like, "This is good. I really like the story, but I feel like it could be more descriptive." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And she gave me some notes and I was like, "Okay, cool." And then I went, edited it, another draft, and she's probably read every draft of this book to give me some feedback, to give me some critiques, but also some praises. So I feel like it's very helpful to have somebody in your corner that understands that creative side, that understands where you're coming from.
Right. It's amazing to have good people in your life who support you, love you, care for you, want to see you move forward, chase your dreams, right? They're not the type of people
Yeah.
who stand in your way and go, "Cam, you can never do this. You don't have the skills
Yeah.
to be an author. You can't be an actor." Like, you have somebody in your life that's pushing you forward. I think that's the best type of relationship to be in.
Oh yeah, no, that's honestly the most important part of this whole. If you're a creative in any way, whether it's music, because I know you do music,
Yeah.
or whether it's art or writing or acting or whatever it is, you need people in your corner. Like you, honestly, you shouldn't really have people around you that tell you can't do it. So I'm very lucky to have my family and my sisters and my dad who support me. And my sisters, Andrea and Riley, they're both very creative themselves. And like I said, Andrea, she's into my older sister. She's into marketing, so she's been helping me with some marketing stuff. My younger sister, helped me put together my first press kit because she was like, "Oh, you don't have a press kit?
Nice.
You should send this out to these people." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." So it's very important to have people in your corner, and without it, it can feel writing itself is it's a very lonely thing. So without people there to support you, it can feel extra lonely. So you should try to have at least one good friend that you know you could be like, "Hey, I'm writing this book," and they'll be like, "That's awesome." I have this old friend who he actually just had a baby. His name is the best friend in my book because he's such an integral part of my life. We met in middle school, but we don't talk too frequently because we're both married. He has a child now, but when we do, he's always hyping me up and supporting me. I showed him my cover before I showed anybody else, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, this is so cool." So it's very important to have those people in your life.
I like it. Really good. Excellent. Cam, so I need to have you back in the future to talk about new projects,
Yes.
right? So keep me in mind, right? If you need somebody to star in your podcast or movie, I'd love to negotiate with you and see what we can do.
Yes.
But yeah, that's amazing. And I'm just really curious, and I really want to watch your career. I want to see how things develop for you and for your wife and all the good stuff you guys are up to. It's great when I meet creative people. I just really inspired by hearing your story and to see you chasing not only your acting career, but now authorship, television, movies. There's a lot of good things in the future for you. And to meet you at this stage of your life and to see where you could possibly go beyond here it's quite inspiring.
Well, thank you, Dave. That's flattering to me. That's That's my dream. That's why I made my own company. My own company is for publishing and producing films. So I want to be able to merge those two parts of my life into one thing. My goal is to one day be able to sit back and write what I want, act in what I want, and just be able to live my life. Because me and my wife, we love to travel.
Yeah.
So I want to be sitting on a beach, writing book number 20 something in a whatever,
Okay.
and have fun.
So are you open to clients, people reaching out to you, looking for help, looking for somebody like you in their corner? Can you talk a little bit about that before we wrap up, Cam? Who do you serve?
Yeah.
Who can reach out to you? Who are you interested to talk to?
I'm interested to talk to people just like me, people who are passionate, creative, who want to do something in this storytelling space. Actually, was just talking to my sister about creating some packages that my company could provide. I haven't fully created them yet, but I am definitely open to discussing things with whether you're a indie author or an indie filmmaker, a writer, a producer, whatever it is. I'm like I said myself, I'm a writer, so the whole point of making this company was to really tailor to the writers because I find that in this industry, writers don't always get the biggest credit. And sometimes they don't want the credit, but whether that's monetary or your name on the thing, I feel like they deserve more credit. So I built this company with the idea of letting writers, authors, and script writers keep their IP rights for the projects that they're coming out with. Because I don't want to be a company that says, oh, I'm going to buy this product and then maybe you get it back in 10 years after I make a bunch of money from it. No, we can collaborate and you will get your say that you earn, that you deserve. Yeah. Writers are so important to me, and that's why I stood behind the writer's strike when it happened, and I feel like we need to have stronger writer representation, to have writers on set when you're filming, to have writers a part of the editing and the publishing process, because you shouldn't just hand off your work and then be like, oh, they actually changed X, Y, and Z, and I didn't even know? Okay. Because it's very important. Without writers, we wouldn't have any stories.
Right.
So, yeah, my company is built for the writers. It's built for people who want to create something. So if you are anything like me, reach out. I'm at hudsonmediacollective.com, or you can just reach out to me directly at Cameron Reuben Hudson on Instagram. I'm on most of social media platforms. But yeah, I'm open to collaborating, open to discussing any creative project.
Excellent. Cam, well done. Like you wrapped that up really nicely there. Well done. First time podcast
I'm an
guest.
actor.
I can tell you're great with words. You know what you're doing.
Well, thanks, Dave. I try. Sometimes I'm thankful that writers have editors because I write messages sometimes and I don't know what I'm saying half the time. So I'm glad that there's a whole editing and revision process afterwards.
Excellent. Do more podcasts, Cam. You're a great guest. Really fun to talk to. A great storyteller. And I just love following your journey, like I mentioned. And I'm really looking forward to seeing where this goes. And I'll be that guy in the corner as you cross the red carpet with your amazing wife and go, Cam, it's me, Dave. You're like, who's that? That podcasting guy? Is he here? Yeah, I'll be that guy, the annoying guy in the crowd. Okay.
No, listen, if I see you, I'm pulling you on the carpet with me. We're taking some pictures. I'm talking to you. We're going to chat, have some coffee after. No, I'm very grateful to be on here to listen. Again, this is my first podcast, and you set the bar high.
Ooh.
So every other podcast I go on, they better at least be like you.
Okay.
And if not, I'm going to walk. I'm going to say, hey, you need to call Dave. You need to get some tips from this guy.
All right, I'll send you the money. Thank you, Cam. That's so kind of you. Cam, thank you so much for being on the show. Again, congratulations. Keep writing. Come back in the future. I'd like to hear more on the next. I'd love to have you back. Audience loves to hear from our guests, returning and keeping us up to date on new projects. So please keep me in mind, okay?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Excellent, everybody. All the information is always in the show notes. Please go leave Cam a great review when, not if, when you buy his book, and tell somebody else about this. If you know somebody who wants to get into acting, they want to be a screenplay writer, they want to do this, they want to chase their dreams, and they have no idea where to start, I know Cam would love to have 20, 30 minutes just to start the conversation and see if Cam's a good fit to work with Cam, or maybe he knows somebody that could really help them. Reach out to Cam. I know he'd love to help them. Cam, thank you so much for being part of the show.
Thank you again, Dave.
Hey, thanks for listening to the podcast. Glad to have you here. I just want to let you know that you can always find out what we're doing live in the moment by going to our YouTube channel. Head over to livingthenextchapter.com. There'll be a link right there. Head over to our YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all the things that all the YouTubers love to say. And in our YouTube channel, a couple things. You're going to get advanced listens. You're going to get the episodes that we're working on in real time. So we record and post daily on our YouTube channel. I'd love for you to give us a follow over there. As well, we're making playlists. We have over 500 episodes. So finding the right episode for you, we're trying to group things into playlists. So if you like children's books, if you like business, you like historical fiction, we're grouping our authors together to make it a little easier for you to find your favorite next author. So head over to livingthenextchapter.com. And again, I'd love to hear from you. Hearing from the listeners of the show is great. And I just want to say thank you for being a part of the podcast family. And I look forward to having you back for the next episode. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate your time and your listen. Take care.